Hey guys, Totro here with a new build, this time a spellcaster StormBrand Hierophant. Started out this character in solo self-found and was pretty solid without any decent gears. Able to do yellow max without much investment in terms of time with the character. I switched the character from solo self-found to trade because I just don't feel like investing so much time in the character while in the middle of the league. And I have an idea for this build that I think would be pretty dang strong. So I have done almost all content, Uber Elder multiple times with 0 death, and no encounter was I even close to dying, and I have done Awaken 8, Cyrus and other endgame bosses as well. This build is solid in terms of survivability, damage, clear speed, mapping, bossing, and it's pretty budget friendly. Most of the gears I use are crafted by myself, buying the base and using fossils, some force essences, and even iteration spamming, except for the unique, of course, right? We are playing a mana build, stacking as much mana as possible, which give us more energy shield and damage due to the ascendancy and some of the new skill gems like Archmage Support and Arcane Cloak, which are released in the Delirium League. In Trick League, I was playing low life because I was able to use multiple auras without reserving mana, which is pretty important for a build that uses mana as part of its kit. Also, Pain and Torment give us more spell damage. In solo self-found, however, low life is almost impossible to play because you need the uniques like Ivory Tower or Sharon Wrapping. If you're able to get those, then go ahead and transition to them. But for the most part, you are not able to really get them. So I recommend playing the hybrid version, which I will include in the POB in the description down below. So my gears are not even close to being optimized, right? Like my wand only have spell damage and mana mod, which I crafted using Lucent and Etheric Fossil. Getting a better one with like crit damage or crit multi is super easy, and you will definitely deal more damage than I do, similar to my rings and my helmet. Reasons for not getting insane gears is to show you that this build doesn't need them to deal crazy damage. On our POB is showing one StormBrand is dealing like near 7 million DPS, and remember we have a lot of them from skill tree and our cluster jewels, adding up to about 8 StormBrands. You're able to get more if you get more cluster jewels as well. So the version I'm running is critical damage version, which is the best for DPS. I'm able to get the good gears, and I recommend starting out playing Elemental Overload in solo self-found or League Start because the drawback of not being able to deal crit is almost 0, because in early on you don't really get gears that helps with your crit builds, and the extra damage for Elemental Overload is really strong without much investment. So for Bandit, I recommend killing them all because this build requires a lot of skill points for the cluster jewels and the other things as well, and for Pantheon, Solaris and Sakari all upgraded. So now let's talk about gear a little bit, right? Those important ones like those uniques and why I use them. If you want to know more about the rare gears or the other gears that I didn't talk about, you can look at the forum build post on how I craft them and why I am using them. So for chest, I'm using Ivory Tower. So of course, another obvious alternative is Sharon Wrapping, right? However, I really prefer Ivory Tower because some of the reason is it gives mana intel, which means more mana, and most importantly, every 100 preserved life equals 30 energy shield. So let's say we have 2k HP to reserve, right? In reality, we have like 2.5k, but let's say 2k to make it easier to calculate. So if we reserve 2k life, it means 600 energy shield flat, which is way more than Sharon's Wrapping. Although Sharon Wrapping gives spell damage, technically Ivory Tower also gives us spell damage as well, because remember, more mana equals more damage and survivability as well. So therefore I feel that Ivory Tower is the best, but sure, if you wanna use Sharon, go ahead. So for amulet, we are using Azuri Foible. Super good amulet, a lot of mana. You wanna use your catalyst to get more mana onto it. And one of the most important thing about this amulet is the reduced attribute requirement, especially for things that need strength. So it makes all our gearing a bit more lenient and less awkward to get because we don't really need attribute on them so that we can use the items. And for our shield, we are using Prisium Guardian, which is socket in our aura. Pretty much all builds that are low life uses this shield because it's just so strong, right? Plus level to your aura skill gems, give you free blood magic, give you elemental resist. So I really recommend using it. There's no other good alternative to use for the shield, and it's really cheap as well. Then for our glove, since we are playing critical version of the build, we are using Voidbringer. If you are not playing crit, you can use any other glove. Glove with more mana, more energy shield is fine, but since you are playing crit, Voidbringer is probably the best. Just a ton of crit, and it's just solid, and it's really cheap as well, right? So for the other gears are just rare gears like your helmet, your wand, more mana, more rest, ES and life. All of them contribute to survivability, right? Because remember, more life equals more reserve equals more ES, and more ES equals more ES, basically. Very simple shit. If you wanna know more about the other gears, you can look at my POB like cluster jewels, my rare gears, look at POB, look at my forum build post when it is up. But all of them are pretty general, right? Just resistance and all the other good stuff. For crafting, look at my forum build post, and hope you guys enjoy the build because I do, right? For someone who is a huge fan of melee, this really changed my view on spellcasting. Not sure what other build I will play, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I have an OP build to share. Enjoy and see you guys on the next one. Check out my stream if you want, and remember to subscribe for more PoE content.